some of you may remember in elementary school doing arts and crafts, doing macaroni art on the plate, gluing
Absolutely
it on.
loved it, making pretty pictures and
Right,
everything.
making pretty pictures. Well, in Massachusetts, art has turned into a nightmare because in a Massachusetts school, I think it's a kindergarten.
Okay.
For Black History Month, they did some plate art.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
They did some plate art, but it ended up with the kids just doing blackface. The teacher had them do plate art and then take photos of them holding the plate, which was blackface, up to the kid's face. Naturally, this caused outrage
in
amongst
the
the
year of
community.
our Lord 2022. How could she have thought? Like she couldn't have thought this through a little bit harder.
I don't know.
Like she couldn't have saw what they were doing and be like, maybe we should pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't think for 1 second that having kids make plate art of black faces and hold it up to their face was a bad idea, maybe?
Yeah, maybe that's not the smartest move. Maybe that's
Also-
just a little racist.
Also, how does that celebrate Black History Month? Like, in what is it celebrating? Like, what accomplishment of a black leader is that celebrating? Or like progress that has been made?
You could have just done like a MLK lesson.
That's what I was about to. Yeah, you
the usual.
could have just done a presentation on the civil rights movement, taught them about slavery, if that's allowed still in your state.
You definitely did not need to just do blackface.
Yeah.
So, wow.
You know, and I wouldn't be surprised, and if in a couple of months this pops up on like Steven Crowder, he starts taking notes, getting ideas. You know, all the right-wing commentators are going to be like, this is a hero of the working class.
I mean, after the KKK video, I expect nothing less from him.
Yeah, and apparently after that, the Massachusetts school had to be closed down because there were so many protests happening outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Like, that is, oh my goodness.
But this is cancel culture at work. You know,
Yeah, of
this
course.
is cancel culture. That's what that was.
This is going to inspire conservatives to say maybe teachers should be protected in their workplace. Maybe
You know
they
what?
do need to have rights.
Ban critical race theory. Encourage blackface.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
That's it's starting to make sense now. I'm starting to get it. We're literally just reverting back to Jim Crow.
How can you think that was a good idea?
You're
Psychotic.
literally a teacher, bro. You went to school. You had to go to school.
Absolute fumble. Absolute
God.
fumble. Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody. I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. Hope
Exactly.
if you had someone that you celebrated Valentine's Day with, I hope it was nice. If you didn't have anyone to celebrate it with,
I hope you weren't too sad.
you have us. You can celebrate it with us. We love you.
Next year, you can listen to this episode back on Valentine's Day.
Exactly. We love you, and we hope the Valentine's Day holiday wasn't too bad.
Exactly.
You know? And it is just a ploy to, the corporations take your money. Anyways,
Hallmark cards and shit.
today we got an absolutely loaded episode. We got to give you a small update on the Freedom Convoy because our coverage has been immaculate.
Of course.
Of the Freedom Convoy.
Of
It's some
course.
geopolitics.
Geopolitics scholars.
We got to talk about one of our favorite billionaires, Elon Musk. He's been in the news. We got to talk about the Wild Wild West, or the Neo-Lib West.
Oh, the Neo Wild West?
There you go.
Good one.
There you
Good
go.
one.
And then we're going to end on talking about paying to be in jail.
Exactly.
You may be surprised.
It's
not clickbait.
Quite literally not clickbait.
Yeah, but if you want to support the show, check out the Patreon, check out the social medias, become a patron.
You know what to do.
Consider it. You get early access to all episodes. They come out 3 days before.
Ooh.
You can check out the Patreon. You might enjoy it. You might like what you find.
I imagine.
And also, if you want to support the show, check us out on Apple.
Hit the 5-star reviews.
Hit a 5-star review on
you
Apple.
You can 5-star review on Spotify too.
Yeah, you can
That's
do
a great
both.
feature. That's a new feature.
It helps us boost. It helps boost the content. And if you leave a 5-star review on Apple, we'll read it on the pod. And that's what we're gonna do.
And
right
it
now.
makes me happy
Exactly.
in the middle of the week when I'm feeling downtrodden.
A little bit of dopamine boost, a little bit of serotonin in me.
Exactly.
Sometimes I need that. I need that to get through so I can make it to the next Sunday and record the next pod for you. But anyway, we got 2 reviews today. The first one is Best Takes with Great Humor from Sean Olia. They say, I have recently struggled to find a progressive talk show that isn't just a sea of information to prove a conservative take wrong. Head in the Office provides a familiar feeling of 2 buddies hanging out, discussing the occasional geopolitics. Big recommend.
Wow.
We are scholars on geopolitics, as we have said
how
before.
it is. PhD candidates for geopolitics over here,
Big international relations guys.
That's right.
We know everything there is to
Big
know.
IR major over here.
2 white dudes talking about geopolitics. Doesn't matter where it is. We got it.
Exactly.
We got the coverage.
Exactly.
Second one is calling all capitalists with like the CAP
Cap.
emphasized. Yeah. From that clarinet guy, they say, consumer warning. The following podcast may incite fears reminiscent of a Red Scare you didn't live through, nor do you likely understand. Given the purposeful complexities of our political system, you too may likely have a fear of the taboos old suits have shoveled at you. Listen in as we discuss those preconceived boundaries and wonder if our hosts will ever pull an Elizabeth Warren and discuss the detailed logistics of a workable plan. No cap, though. I love you guys. Best part of my week.
Nah, I'm going to pull an Elizabeth Warren. Guys, I am actually 1% Native American.
I'm going to pull a I'm going to pull an Elizabeth Warren and just lose an election real quick.
I'm going to pull an Elizabeth Warren and be a spoiler in an election real quick.
Exactly. Anyway, thank you both for the reviews. We really appreciate it. It helps out the show. And I'm just going to reiterate. If y'all want to help out the show, easy way to do it, free way to do it.
Facts.
Apple Podcasts. You don't even have to listen on Apple. Just check it out. Go do it. If you have an iPhone, you're able to do it. You know the drill.
And hit the socials, the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we got to start off with a Freedom Convoy update. And this one's pretty small. Nothing's really changed except the state is literally 1984. George Orwell.
Except the new police state just dropped.
Police state just dropped, kind of. So throughout our coverage of the Freedom Convoy, you know that the truckers have been popping off.
Oh, yes, they have.
Serendipitously popping off.
The ones that are actually truckers, mind you.
Yeah.
Not just the people that showed up.
Cosplayers, yeah. But they may not be popping off for too much longer.
Oh, no.
Because rather than sending in Canada's military or police to, like, disperse protesters, which apparently I learned in Canada is kind of a difficult thing to do because the Canadian government doesn't have that much power to, like, send police forces in.
Yeah, like the provincial police and shit.
It's like the territories have to decide to do it themselves.
Some federalist type shit going on.
It's like states' rights type shit, which is like, you know, what are you going to expect out of Canada? It's Canada. But Trudeau and his government have invoked the Emergencies Act for the first time ever. And the Canadian Emergencies Act is basically, I don't know when it was passed, but this is the first time it's ever been invoked. And it basically allows the state to suspend all civil rights to maintain order.
Wow. That's quite the bill right there. Oh, my.
The Emergencies Act can, quote, strengthen police powers to impose fines and imprison people, compel tow truck companies to help clear blockades, allow banks to freeze the personal and corporate accounts of individual protesters without a court order, and subject crowdfunding companies to anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules.
Terrorist financing rules?
Yeah.
Dude, that's wow. Mitch McConnell got hard reading that one.
Yeah, and I wanna like zoom in specifically on the freezing of personal and corporate accounts.
Yeah,
because like although we clearly disagree with the trucker protest.
Yeah,
like obviously it's like it's dumb.
Obviously they are literally idiots.
In no way representative of the working class or of just their own industry.
Yeah, no, it can't possibly be a working class movement considering that it is anti a public health order that is by nature of being a public health order pro working class
to protect the working class.
Exactly. So,
but I wanna point this out specifically because although again we disagree with the trucker protest, it's kind of fucking psychotic.
No, yeah, it's kind of fucking psychotic because they literally did go in and I think they froze the bank accounts of like a bunch of fucking people.
Trudeau specifically, he said, we are today serving a notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen. The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. So
like indefinitely?
I don't know. Like I mean, it's unclear. Like this law is very, very powerful.
That's a lot, dog.
Yeah. And if you've been listening over the past few weeks, you know that we oppose this. But if you are a leftist or anyone on the left, this kind of law, this kind of ability that the government has, should be ringing alarm bells in your head.
It should be very concerning because if they're going to do this to a right-wing protest, imagine what they'll do to a protest that is actually anti-capital, an actual true left-wing protest.
Right. And like, of course, again, trucker protests really stupid. They don't understand. Like, it's all based on the false pretense that vaccines don't work, which is just funded by billionaires that just want political clout. But I would rather the state have to like invoke the police or the military in order to like stop protests to quell dissent rather than them being able to just unilaterally freeze your bank account without any due process.
No, literally.
Like that's like a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because imagine like there's a large scale general worker strike in Canada for better wages, working conditions, whatever. The point of that strike would be to halt the economy. Like And we, in that instance, or like if it happened in America, would be the economic terrorists.
Yeah.
And then we could just have, our strike fund cut off, our wages cut off.
Bank accounts frozen, all the GoFundMes directed somewhere else, literally any financial help coming through just kicked out.
Yeah. So like instead of us being able to like strike and then physically see that the police are trying to stop us, we would strike and then not be able to eat the next day.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I get like, on first hearing that, you would think, well, what the fuck, having police show up, that's kind of like worse. And it's like, that's almost the point. Optically, it is worse, while materially not necessarily being as worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The point is you want it to be optically a little bit more worse so that more people can realize that this shit is fucked. Because what the state is doing in Canada is very covert. Yeah. And that's the most dangerous part about all this, is because it's just gonna fly under the rug and people are gonna forget about it soon.
Yeah, and that's why the Patriot Act was so scary in the United States when it passed after 9/11, is because the state wasn't forced to act in explicit ways. It could act in ways that were very subtle that you didn't really understand. And wouldn't you know, the U.S. government was spying on people.
Yeah.
And kind of same thing in Canada now, is that it's like, instead of having to physically remove people and people being able to see what is happening to them explicitly, they now just can't afford gas or can't afford to eat the next day.
For sure. And I mean,
which is like, it's an effective way to get people out of there, but I think it's kind of scary.
It should go without saying though that both of those things are bad.
Oh yeah,
like,
but
obviously bad. But if you're talking about like movements in the context of like the modern day and how to get people like on your side necessarily, you know what I mean? Because it is that is going to rile people up more than covertly going and seizing bank accounts. It's modern day siege tactics.
Right. Yeah, no, they're both really bad. Right?
Yeah, it should go without saying.
I don't want anyone to be
here.
Brutalized by the military.
No.
I don't want anyone to have their access to food cut off. But my point is that the state is going to intervene in some way.
Yeah.
That is their role. If you are interrupting the economy, they're going to do everything they can to like glue it back together. So if you had to choose one form of intervention over the other, I'd much rather it be very explicit rather than, not being able to eat the next day.
For sure.
That is pretty spooky. That's pretty spooky.
It's very spooky.
And I would say not a very good thing. And by the way, if these protests are as unpopular as Trudeau and his government say that they are, then people aren't really going to care if he kicks them out with the military or police. Like, people aren't going to get that. Like, if it's truly an unpopular protest, as he says it is, then it shouldn't be a problem to kick them out with the military. Yeah. Not that military action in this instance is good or really ever good to use against your own citizens. But again, if it has popular support, then he shouldn't be worried, and he shouldn't have to use covert tactics. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying it's a bit much.
Exactly. And it's like, just to make it even more clear, would you rather something happen like what happened in, was it Portland, where cops were showing up in no uniforms, unmarked cars, and just black bagging people?
Right.
Or would you rather them show up and just put down like a police line?
Right, and have their badge numbers out and you be able to know who they are.
Exactly.
Like, that's the difference.
I saw another thing, the Ottawa cops also, I think, took their names and badge numbers off of their uniforms.
Yeah.
Like, that's very fucked up, because they did show up eventually.
And it's like, if there ever was a general strike, that would be much more damaging to the economy, purposefully. Like, that's the reason that we would be doing it. A general strike would be much more damaging to the economy, and they would react, the state would have to react in a much harsher, more physical way in order to get that to stop. Or they could just, cut off your bank account,
sweep it
call
under the
you
rug.
An economic terrorist, and say like, well, you don't have any due process anymore. You have access to nothing that you own. Like, that seems a little sus to me.
A little fucked up. Fucked up.
You should not be a proponent of that. And I must say, since I've seen conservatives throughout the past few weeks get very emboldened by this kind of state action against them.
Oh, yeah.
Saying like, well, this is like proof our movement is working. It's a working class movement. It isn't.
No, it's definitely
it's
not.
really not. Like, you are protesting against, again, public health measures. A working class protest or movement would be for economic democracy.
Yeah.
And like ensuring that everyone has access to the resources that they need to survive and can be dignified in their work. You are protesting against a vaccine that you don't understand. Like, it's not the same.
And like the police have shown up in Ottawa. Ottawa provincial police have shown up, and like they're putting up like lines and shit, like in riot gear and everything. And they really are speaking out about it in a way that's kind of like, this isn't nearly as bad as it was in America. Yeah. Was it 2 summers ago for Black Lives Matter? And you absolutely shit on that, saying those protesters were burning down cities.
Right.
You justified the murder of every black and brown person you could find by digging up literally any bad thing they may have done in their past. Literally like a fucking parking ticket to say that it's okay that they got murdered by the state.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of hypocrisy for you today, you know?
Right. Like it's not even close to the same thing. Black Lives Matter with millions of protests or thousands of protests, millions of people around the world, not just in America. And then one little trucker convoy in Canada with like less than 10,000.
Because they don't want to get vaccinated.
Right. Because they don't want to get vaccinated, even though 90% of their workforce already has, and they're just mad that they have to do it too.
Yeah, literally.
Like literally, you know, they're mad at restrictions that are over time going away that are already lightly enforced. Like,
oh yeah, everything is fucking going away. Everybody's pretty much forgotten about COVID right now.
Yeah.
Like low key. I've not heard anybody talk about it. I haven't really seen any new news about COVID, anything.
No.
Restrictions are being lifted literally everywhere. Mask mandates are starting to go away everywhere.
And you want to know the kicker?
What's the kicker?
You know what I heard?
What'd you hear?
I heard that the law that they're protesting isn't actually being imposed by Canada. It is a law that the U.S. has when it comes to truckers coming into our country, that you have to be vaccinated if you're going to cross the state line or the country lines.
It's literally just the border.
Yes.
Like you just have to be vaccinated crossing the border.
And apparently it's a U.S. rule. So they're protesting the Canadian government for a rule that the U.S. is imposing. And U.S. like citizens in the U.S. that are supporting that are also opposing Canada's rule. Like, it doesn't make sense. None of it lines up.
Modern day conservatives aren't the most intellectual of people, so I don't put it past them.
Yeah, and they're doing these protests saying like we need more capitalism. Like,
I've seen videos of people like going to the thing talking about like, yeah, the working class really needs to band together.
You're
like,
talking about in the Twitter space?
I think so. Yeah, like the workers of the world really need to unite, and they're like, yeah, unite for more capitalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Woo.
Like they were doing this Twitter space at one point, the Freedom Convoy people, like the organizers of it, and some like random like, you know, lefty came in undercover and was like, yeah, the working class really needs to band together and make it so we can have more agency in the workplace, control over our labor, and, you know, reap the benefits. And they were like, yeah, that's why we need to stop communism. They're so close.
People just don't have a clue. It's literally Red Scare propaganda. It's so sad, actually.
No critical thinking left in their brain at all. Not a modicum of critical thinking.
And, you know, while we're on the topic of critical thinking and huge intellectual giants,
Elon Musk,
we get to move on to our next our big topic for the episode.
Yeah, this is the big topic for the episode. So Elon Musk, he's been in the news recently.
Oh yeah.
And let me tell you, sometimes they say any PR is good PR. Not in this instance. Not good PR at all. So aside from, you know, tweeting memes that Justin Trudeau is Hitler, because he did do that. I know we just talked about our man Trudeau saying he's bad, but he's definitely not Hitler.
Yeah.
Aside from that, Musk has had to deal with recalls at Tesla. He's had to deal with allegations of racism in the workplace.
Oh yeah.
And allegations of animal abuse.
And he's torturing monkeys.
So let's talk about the callbacks a little bit. So, and this is kind of a smaller piece of the story, but I think it's still interesting to talk about because of how much just Tesla is lauded for being so innovative and
being these
smart,
amazing fucking cars that are just so
at the forefront
perfect
of the electric vehicle frontier. Yeah. So Reuters reports that Tesla is recalling 578,607 vehicles in the United States because pedestrians may not be able to hear the required warning sound of an approaching car due to loud music or other sounds played by its boombox feature on Tesla electric vehicles.
Okay.
So if you don't know, electric vehicles, because they're quieter than regular like gas cars, are required to have a minimum level of like noise emission so that people can hear when cars are coming. And almost or more than 500,000 vehicles are being recalled because they weren't doing that. With like 500,000, like Tesla's not that big of a car company at the moment.
Yeah, no.
Compared to like GM, Ford, Chrysler, all the other big ones. 500,000 vehicles because pedestrians couldn't hear the sounds.
That's a significant amount of cars coming through.
Yeah, and apparently Tesla has had to issue 10 recalls for their products over the last 4 months. And 4 of them were in the last few weeks.
Jesus fucking Christ. What?
But yeah, billionaires are so smart and they're so wealthy because they're so smart.
Yeah, they're so smart. Guys, Tesla stock has been ballooning because the company is just so good and they're so fucking good at making cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also another recall problem that they had is just a few days ago, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration had to investigate over 400,000 of their vehicles for unexpected brake activation while on the highway. So Tesla vehicles would be going highway speeds with their like autopilot feature and just brake.
The fucking Cortana inside of each Tesla. I'm going to brake check the people behind me right now.
Cars would just randomly brake while going like, 70, 75 miles an hour. Just stop.
You're just chilling in your autopilot car thinking this is the coolest fucking thing in the world. And then all of a sudden,
and then you're just dead. Like,
What the fuck?
Like, Elon Musk is praised so much for his electric vehicles and like his innovation, even though he's not doing any of the work to create these things. He's praised for it so much, and then they just don't work. Like, none of them work. And apparently, another quote from Reuters, they said, quote, owners say they have raised concerns with Tesla, but they've been dismissed. The complaints have been dismissed, saying that the braking is normal, but some have called it's been actually it's so bad that it has earned the name phantom braking. So if you're considering buying a Tesla, don't.
Yeah, don't.
Probably don't.
Don't, yeah. I promise you the stock is not high because they make good cars, which is evident now. It's all speculation.
Yeah, and I was gonna get to this towards the end.
Okay.
But I feel I can note it here. It's really interesting how many mistakes, like quite literally, if you consider each car a mistake, millions of mistakes billionaires can make and then pay no consequence. But if a poor person gets in a car accident, they're just fucked forever. Like, they can't afford hospital bills, they can't afford to repair their car, they can't afford the ticket that they'll get from the police, like nothing.
Or even like foreshadowing even further in the episode to the end, if a regular person just makes a mistake and say maybe goes to jail in Florida, they're gonna have to pay to go to jail.
Yeah. But Elon Musk just gets away with it, no problem.
Exactly.
Just a recall of millions of cars that people now own because they're breaking down.
He's no better than GM.
No.
It's no better than GM. The cars may be cleaner. They may reduce your own individual carbon footprint.
Yeah.
But as a fucking capitalist, he is no better than the people at GM, at Ford, anywhere else.
And he's also marketing these as like luxury vehicles that are super nice and can meet all of your needs because he sells them for like hundreds of thousands of dollars and then they just don't work.
And it's like, just remember the Cybertruck demo?
Yeah.
Where he said, yeah, guys, the windows won't break, and just breaks the window right there.
And then he said there's also no crumple zones, which means you which means you would literally die. Because you have to have crumple zones in order to survive a car crash.
Crumple zones, like, I mean, just in case any of you don't know, crumple zones in your car, they're places where your car will literally, like, crumble like a fucking Coke can in order to dissipate the energy of the crash so that you don't just, I don't know, go flying through your fucking window or hit the airbag way too hard or go back too hard. They are very important safety features.
Yeah, it absorbs some of the crash, and if you don't have those, you're probably just going to die.
Yeah.
Especially if your Tesla vehicle just brakes randomly on the highway and you get rear-ended by a semi-truck. You know, that could happen.
God.
You never know. Anyway, moving on to another issue Elon Musk is having.
Okay.
A bit more substantive, this one. He's got an issue of racism in the workplace. Wow. And this one's a doozy, people.
Okay.
So the state of California is suing Texas over allegations of racism and harassment of black employees in their Fremont factory in California. The lawsuit alleges that black employees were quite literally segregated. Quite literally, like segregation in this factory. So a quote from NPR says, the lawsuit describes multiple instances of racist language and drawings towards black employees.
Drawings?
We'll get there, just hang on. Penalizing black employees more harshly than white employees and denying black employees career advancement opportunities and equal pay for work similar to that of other employees. And Tesla's, of course, denying everything.
Wow. Who's really surprised about this from a company whose owner goes and retweets the Babylon Bee every day on Twitter?
Yeah.
You know?
But it's like, okay, we'll just get into it. We'll just get into it. So I want to issue a little warning. It's going to get graphic.
God damn.
It's going to get graphic. So the drawings part. The lawsuit says that Tesla allegedly is slow to clean up racist graffiti, including swastikas, KKK symbols, and the N-word and other hate symbols that were drawn in common areas and on factory machines. Like, imagine working at Tesla, being, an average employee, a black worker at Tesla, and you just got to walk in and see, like, the N-word
just
on the
racial
wall.
Trauma. Just genocidal trauma.
And then one worker cited seeing hang N-word and also, quote, all monkeys work outside. It's just violently racist. And Tesla's denying it.
I saw stuff about, like, their HR literally just trying to, like, shut people up about it.
Oh, yeah, they're denying everything. They're just denying everything.
It is 2022. I legitimately don't understand how people just, like, think that's okay. Like, that's, like, high school bathroom shit. And even in high school bathrooms, it's still, like, just, like, not even funny. Like, it's not okay at all.
Like, you see it and, like, you're taken back because you're like...
Yeah, you're like, in 2022.
Yeah, like, why is there a swastika, like,
why is there a swastika carved into every fucking stall?
But at least then, like, it's children.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's not an excuse.
You have, like... the excuse of them literally being children.
Right, there's some
their
plausible
brains literally
deniability
not
there.
being. Yeah. It's an explanation, not an excuse. Here we have fully grown adults working at a Tesla plant.
Yeah. Yeah. And then NPR says that black workers have been raising concerns since 2012, since Tesla started, about coworkers and supervisors constantly using the N-word and other racial slurs. And apparently, quote, some workers at Tesla with tattoos of the Confederate flag would make their tattoos visible to intimidate black workers.
In California, too?
Yes.
It's like they intentionally went and found the worst people in California, in neoliberal California, to work there.
Yeah. The free market's just attracting workers, baby.
The free market, bro. It will really just root out all of this.
I can't wait for conservatives to explain to us how this is regulation causing this issue.
How socialism caused this.
Yeah, but here's, I think, in my opinion, the worst part of all of this.
Okay.
Workers apparently were segregated into different areas of the factory, with like the black areas or areas where the black workers were being called the slave ship or the plantation or other obscene things that I'm not going to say. Yeah. Yeah. Like, that is absolute. Like, I can't even fathom how absurd that is.
Didn't Elon Musk shut down that plant a year and a half ago? Because this is from the California plant, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he shut that down and move it to Texas? And he said it was because of taxes.
I don't remember.
I know he like threatened to get rid of it, and then he just moved to Texas and did another plant in Texas. Maybe it wasn't because of the taxes. Maybe he was just trying to duck this issue. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm talking out of my ass right here, but I don't know. Sounds plausible.
I mean, there is like, I don't know how many people are signing on to this lawsuit, but it is more than one person. And I know before, I think a couple of years ago, there was one worker who was rewarded like $1 million from Tesla for suing, I think, on racial harassment lines. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just an extension of the same problem.
Yeah.
Elon Musk got a little bit of a problem with racism in his workplace. I wonder why that is. I wonder if his personality just attracts a certain kind of people.
I wonder if the people that are his fans are some of the most annoying fucking people on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. Continuing on though, and it gets even more violent. One black worker, quote, one black worker heard these racial slurs as often as 50 to 100 times a day. 50 to 100 times a day. Like, bro, you can't even find 50 to 100 racial slurs a day like on like subreddit, like Nazi subreddits.
No, literally. Oh my god.
I know, flabbergasted.
Dude. Oh my god.
The lawsuit also alleges that black workers were made to clean the factory floor on their hands and knees and were consistently assigned more demanding work than white workers in the factory. Like, it just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse.
Dog, what the lawsuit asserts that black workers are routinely denied promotions and punished for infractions that other workers were not. It's literally like, I don't even know how to describe it. That's literally just wrong.
Yeah.
God.
Like Tesla quite literally running the most racist workplace in America.
It's literally horrible. Like I would say like oh, I don't even know. I can't even find my words for this.
Can't even make jokes about it. That's how flat. We be making jokes about every single issue that pops up. Can't even find words to make jokes. Tesla's response, though, they said it was counterproductive, quote, at a time when manufacturing jobs are leaving California.
They said, due to the labor shortage, we have to be racist. Guys, we have to be racist because of the labor shortage.
No, guys, there's a labor shortage. That means our workers want them to literally be discriminated against.
Guys, no, you don't understand. If they didn't like it, they would just go work somewhere else. They'd go work at another Tesla plant. Guys, that's how the market works. Yeah. That's how the free market works.
Bro literally said, if I can't be racist, I'm taking my toys and leaving. I need to be able to be racist or I'm not going to employ thousands of people.
I'm going to go segregate in Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas.
And they'll allow me to do it.
Yeah.
God damn. I love how Tesla can like market itself as being environmentally friendly and just profiting off of the backs of racist people and literally like victims of racism in the workplace. Just egregiously, horribly racist people.
No, yeah, actually just fucking horrible people. And these are adults.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even hear kids my age act like this.
Yeah.
Like, granted, I don't hang around kids that act like that, but like, Jesus Christ.
Also, I already hear the argument. They could just get another job. They could just leave and get another job.
Labor market, baby. It's a free market. If you don't like it,
First
leave.
of all, not the point. You shouldn't be discriminated against regardless of where you work.
You shouldn't have to leave the place you work.
Second
That's
of all,
maybe by your house because of racism.
I'm pretty sure the people in this lawsuit literally did leave, and they're suing because they were racially, harassed, segregated.
Yeah. Literally illegal.
Victims of racism. And also, there's still going to be workers of color at Tesla. An individual could leave, but some people are still going to be at the will of these very racist practices and racist people.
Exactly.
And discrimination shouldn't happen.
What about all the people that are maybe scared to speak out? What about all the people who fear they can't speak out because of retaliation? Because yet again, apparently that workers of color at Tesla are being punished harder than literally anyone else just for being of color. What about them? What are people who are scared of losing their job, their economic security in a place like California where rent is absurdly expensive?
Yep. Yeah. So ultimately, you don't get to discriminate against people, and I don't care. So you don't get to just discriminate against people for wanting to have a job that pays them enough to survive in California.
Yeah, and you don't just get to be racist.
Yeah.
This is cancel culture. This is cancel culture coming for the Tesla Fremont factory, and I'm not gonna stand for it, dog.
Yeah, bro, we're canceling racism. Oh no. How bad of us to cancel racism.
Oh no, you can't make your black workers literally do menial labor that nobody else has to do. Oh, cancel culture.
Oh no, you can't make your black workers literally scrub the floors on their hands and knees while the white workers have swastikas branded on their chests. Oh no.
You're telling me I can't scream 50 to 100 racial slurs at my black coworkers a day. What if I'm just singing along to a song, huh?
What about the First Amendment?
What if I'm just singing along to my favorite rap song, huh?
God damn it.
If I can't say it, nobody should be able to say it. How come one person can say it, but I can't?
That's discrimination.
Yeah.
That's discrimination.
White people face the most racism every day.
Anyway.
He called me a cracker one time.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, moving on to another Elon Musk controversy. Animal cruelty.
Okay.
So another one of Elon Musk's companies, Neuralink, has been, toying around with mutilating monkeys, to put it lightly. So Neuralink's has been funding research at UC Davis in California to experiment on monkeys by implanting neural interfaces into their brains, like a brain chip, basically.
Because, keep in mind, he wants to do this to humans. Eventually.
Yes.
He wants to put fucking, chips in your brain. And I can't remember what the purpose is for, but it's for something.
You know what I saw on YouTube the other day?
Oh, no.
Neuralink released a video where it said, starting human trials.
You're lying.
So that's
bro.
Crazy. And people in the comments are just like, I'm so excited. Thank you,
It's
Elon
natural
Musk. You're
selection.
So smart. Yeah.
It's natural selection at this point.
I think the point of the research is to cure things like seizures and stuff.
I know that's a lot of what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But I know I don't know. I remember watching a fucking Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk talk about Neuralink 2 years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, Neuralink has reportedly given over $1.4 million over the course of a couple of years, 2017 to 2020. And the experiment recently has been revealed to have involved 23 monkeys in total. And by 2020, 15 of them had died. And it was reported that just about every monkey that had brain implants had debilitating health effects and or started self-mutilating. Every single monkey reportedly experienced extreme suffering during trials, but the funding kept coming.
He just like me for real.
Yeah.
He just like me studying for all these exams.
Yeah, studying, except he's literally killing living beings in the process.
God damn, bro. No, the monkey's just like me for real.
Yeah.
Just suffering.
Facts.
Suffering.
Facts. Extreme suffering. Musk obviously, he wants to create a cool guy sci-fi technology,
Yeah, no.
Because brain chip sounds really cool, cyberpunk kind of stuff.
We're gonna stream music right to your brain, but also ads that you literally can't skip.
Yeah, he wants to fund this really cool technological research, but then just brutalizes animals.
Yeah, it's like he read a sci-fi novel and was like, I'm gonna do this, but missed the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many times we have to reiterate this, but billionaires don't have your best interests at heart. They are not thinking about you.
Not at all.
They don't care. They just want to profit and feel cool. That's literally all they want. And especially when it comes to human trials, do you remember how we talked about months ago? Tesla can just turn off their vehicles whenever they want.
Yes.
Imagine you have a Tesla brain chip or Neuralink brain chip. And bro can just like turn off your neurological
You're
functioning
going to
whenever
sleep
he
right
wants.
now.
Right, like this is 1984 George Orwell. Like
God damn.
like all of our fears of Elon Musk becoming God King of America is just gonna come true.
It doesn't even like sound like a fun idea, like
No.
the whole Neuralink thing.
No.
Like it doesn't. Oh, my goodness, bro.
So you may be asking, that's a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
Racism, recalls, monkey experimentation, animal abuse,
Yeah.
lots of bad stuff.
Uh-huh.
How is Elon Musk handling this? Take a guess. Pause the episode, take a guess. He donated $6 billion worth of Tesla shares to, quote, ending world hunger.
Wow.
But I was looking into this because I wanted to find out where this money was going, what it was going to be used for. Because do you remember a couple months ago when the UN was like, we could literally end world hunger with $6 billion, but billionaires don't want to give us any money?
And he said, show me the receipts.
Yeah.
Elon Musk replied, and he's like, well, show me how exactly you would do it, and I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it's unclear where this money's actually going. But this is by far his biggest donation ever.
It's going to Elon Musk's new company. It's going to the new nonprofit that Elon Musk started.
But get this. So this $6 billion was like what, 2% of his net worth or something like that?
2.5% of his net worth.
All of his donations together, besides this one, add up to 0.001% of his total net worth.
I could go donate like $5 right now, and I'd be fine too. Like,
exactly.
Does that make me just like Elon Musk?
Am I going to be lauded like Elon Musk was?
Yeah, guys.
Am I just like him?
Like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but he's doing it for a PR play. It's not a significant amount of his income.
And I don't really know how like big philanthropy works and how they get tax breaks and stuff. But the stories I was reading, apparently this money is moving through one of those accounts that just gets massive tax breaks.
Oh yeah,
so,
and he'll get to write off all of the money on his next tax bill.
So it's not even really a good thing.
After he brags about paying the biggest tax bill in history ever, and that's why we shouldn't tag tax billionaires anymore, because it hurts their feelings.
It hurts their feelings, and like how would world hunger is not going to end if Elon Musk can't hide his taxes in big philanthropy accounts,
Yeah.
if I can't literally evade taxes and not pay into the collective pool of resources that give people healthcare, then how is world hunger ever going to end?
Exactly, guys. If I can't keep like furthering, global capitalism and the material conditions that cause world hunger, and sometimes donate 2% of my income to a charity that's already probably kind of shitty, because most charities are pretty shitty and don't get many things done, then how am I supposed to feel good about myself for causing literal immense suffering in monkeys?
Yeah, exactly. And just black people in my workplace.
And allowing racism to just continue.
And killing people on the highway, of course.
Oh, can't forget. And your car's fucking blowing up.
So he's definitely just donating this money to, one, dodge taxes, and two, he wants to avoid bad press because, he's racist, or his workplaces are racist. He's probably racist, and he also killed monkeys.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll work. On the cucks it'll work. I know that.
Yeah, on all the people with the hexagon profile picture on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. I think the big overarching theme here, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I love how billionaires can just mistake after mistake after mistake, still get subsidized by the government, have enough money to make more mistakes, and be absolutely fine. But if your average worker gets a disease, they're just done.
Fucked. Done for. It's either bankruptcy or death.
Yeah. No, that's it. But it's but in the cultural zeitgeist, it's always like, well, the worker just needs to work harder, make better decisions. Like poor is a decision. You need to just work your way out of it, make better choices, invest your money, that kind of thing. But billionaires can just quite literally ruin everything for other people.
And then throw money at an issue. And everybody's like, oh, he donated X dollar amount. He must be a fucking saint.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like how in the old days of the Catholic Church, I can't remember what it was called, but you could literally buy forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but with a modern capitalist twist to it. The Catholic Church being I don't know, the cultural zeitgeist, Elon Musk donating to a shitty charity to solve world hunger, which it isn't gonna fucking do.
Yeah.
Because it's issue with global capital, and he's buying forgiveness from the public.
Bro, we're about to be Martin Luther with our 95 reasons that the church sucks.
PR firms are the new Catholic Church. That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
That's some good cultural analysis.
What can I say?
Some good dialectical materialism right there.
Off the dome, fresh off the dome.
I love it because if you compared what happens now to hundreds of years ago when monarchies were still around and that kind of thing, these people would literally just be defending the king.
They have more
nothing's
money.
wrong with the king.
They have more money than kings.
How are we supposed to do our work? You're just lazy. You could be a king if you just worked harder.
Yeah, bro.
He worked for his position. You think think he was just born into it. He's just given wealth from somebody else.
Yeah, come on. He
just
may have
won a
had
war.
the mandate of heaven, which is something we legitimately believe in.
Yeah.
But he deserves it, guy. Come on.
No, the mandate of heaven's the same thing today.
Yeah, the modern day mandate of heaven is the apartheid emerald mines in South Africa.
Exactly.
So
yeah, bro, that's the mandate of heaven. You're just born into benefiting from apartheid. South Africa emerald mines.
Yeah, honestly, with that in mind, the segregation within like Tesla factories isn't too surprising coming from a white guy from South Africa.
True.
Just putting that out there.
He's just trying to make it feel more like home. You know? He's trying to remind himself of what home felt like.
Yeah, no,
in
literally.
apartheid South Africa.
Jesus fucking, what a piece of shit.
I hate that guy.
What an actual piece of shit.
If you're an Elon Musk stan listening right now, I don't know why you'd be listening to this far in.
Yeah.
But if you're just like hate listening or something, rethink your life.
Shout out to the person who I think left a review talking about how we're not scared to like shit on Elon Musk and tech bros, and that's why they appreciate us. This one's for you.
One day when we're like forced against our will to get the brain chip, we're just gonna be like recording the pod, and then we're just gonna like shut off. Elon Musk's gonna have enough of us.
I'm gonna say just one, like a string of words like Elon Musk, race.
Yeah, exactly. They're just gonna be done.
I'm just sleep.
And then the Canadian government's gonna shut off our bank accounts. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad news. Economic terrorism.
The Ottawa police are gonna come black bag us.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait for that. Anyways, I think that sums it up on Elon Musk. You should not support Elon Musk. Don't support any billionaire. They don't care about you.
Exactly. And now we get to move on to the Neo Wild West,
Got
or
to.
more aptly, the Neo Wild South.
Or Tennessee.
Tennessee. So anyway, Tennessee just decided they've seen all the crazy shit that like Florida and Texas and Mississippi have been getting into like legally recently with all the bills they've been passing, their Supreme Court challenges.
I love just getting inspired by your homies, you know?
Exactly, bro. Just getting gassed up by your fellow southern states. And State Representative Christopher Hurt and Joey Hensley decided to introduce bills that would quite literally deputize any citizen with an enhanced handgun carry permit and allow them to act as like police.
Oh no.
What are you thinking?
Bro, come on.
What are you literally thinking, dog? Have you never seen like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Or no, they saw that and they're like, yeah, that's how justice should work.
Have you ever used your brain? Like just thought for half a second that maybe everyone being able to like arrest somebody else is a bad idea. Now we've talked about this when the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff was popping off, but everyone's gonna think they're a good guy with a gun now.
That's another point that I was getting into. It seems like a reaction to like the Kyle Rittenhouse case, not like the verdict, just the general like idea behind it, and also the verdict behind the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Yeah,
considering that the two people that killed Ahmaud Arbery just got sentenced. Rightfully so, because they're pieces of shit who went out and killed the guy because they, surprise, surprise, suspected that he was committing a crime. Within the language of this law, it allows any citizen with an enhanced handgun carry permit to apprehend somebody who they suspect is committing a crime.
You know, we've been criticizing for some time, the left in general has been criticizing the lack of training that police officers have. And so the right's answer to that was like, well, what if we just have people go in that have absolutely no training doing anything? It's probably a fucking idiot. And what if we have them carry out the law instead of the police?
No, literally, because you want to know how hard it is to get an enhanced handgun carry permit in Tennessee?
Probably not hard.
It costs you $100, 100.
Oh, so if you're poor, you just can't do it.
Yeah, if you're poor, then you can't be a cop. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
It costs you $100, and you have to attend an 8-hour handgun safety class.
8 hour. Wow.
Yeah, it's big.
And then you can just be a cop.
Yeah, you can just walk around literally like a fucking deputy.
Yeah.
Just bam.
And that's what's going to happen.
Quick on the draw.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, they can have like standoffs, you know?
Oh, shit. They're in fucking TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
He sees, hey, I think you just put that in your, let me see your receipt.
Yeah.
Sitting there like twiddling his fucking fingers around his holster.
I'm so sick of this. Can we just like force all southern states to secede?
No, facts. Like
you're thinking backwards, dog. You really just want the Wild Wild West.
It's quite literally a regression. Even the fucking police union
Yeah.
came out and said, guys, this is a very bad idea.
Yeah, it's going to kill police officers.
Exactly. See, that's what I was getting at, because I was like, okay, you know, us over here, leftists, on our ACAB shit, what happens when I say I have an enhanced handgun carry permit, suspect a police officer of committing a crime?
Mm-hmm.
How do you reconcile that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you reconcile that? And this is from the Back the Blue crowd, by the way. Because, I mean, literally their thoughts are, I'm sure, no, leftists can't do this. Leftists can't do this. That would be very illegal. But if a Republican wants to shoot a person of color, per se, then they were committing a crime.
Or what if I decide, like, you know, somebody, if I'm living in Tennessee and I have a handgun permit, an enhanced handgun permit, and I decide that, you know, my local billionaire is committing a crime by stealing from all of his workers.
Exactly.
He's stealing the surplus value generated by those workers. Can I just storm in?
Not even like, because Jeremy, my friend, that's in very abstract terms. Could I go over to the, who are the fucking people that own Walmart?
The Waltons.
The Waltons. Could I go to the Walton and say this idea gets adopted nationally?
Yeah.
And just fucking, you know, get into a quick standoff with them because of the literal wage theft that they've committed?
Right.
If someone,
the horrible conditions all their workers, all millions of workers have been subjected to, can I be like defending the people?
If I go work at a Starbucks in Tennessee and they say they make me clock out on my break, do I get to just?
And I already hear the retort. Right wingers are going to say, well, they're, you know, private property is protected. They're not committing a crime. Wage theft is a crime.
Wage theft is very illegal. In fact,
wage theft is illegal. And if I decide that the state isn't, you know, protecting my rights as a worker enough, am I allowed to just go stand off? You know, have a duel with my employer?
Do I allow to tell him to meet me at the town square?
Exactly.
At noon? At high noon?
Exactly. Like.
It's in Tennessee. The tumbleweeds going through everywhere. Meet me in Nashville.
You know, you may say that's a slippery slope argument. It's literally not. It's just right downstream. Like, it is a 1-to-1 comparison
just
of what's
step over. Honestly,
it's what's going to happen. Like, police officers have already said this is a bad idea because it's going to make their job harder. Like, come on now, a little bit of critical thinking, please.
Which is like a funny thing, because even just to expand on that idea, a lot of police unions, specifically in Texas, because I know a couple months ago, Texas, I think, just tried to expand like gun laws so that civilians can have more fucking guns in public and everything. Police unions are generally against like all of that because it makes their job harder, which is like, yeah, it's kind of hard to reconcile those two things together.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, we talked about this when we talked about the Amir Locke case. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3.
Like a country where there is a very relaxed regulation of guns and a tight police force cannot coexist.
No, yeah.
Because the police force is always going to try to control how, you know, people are using their weapons. Then people using their weapons are going to oppose the police force. Like, it does not work. You can't have those two things. And Tennessee's decided, well, we're not a law of lands anymore, or we're not a land of laws anymore. And we are a nation of quite literally the Wild Wild West.
Yeah. There better not be any defund the police accusations coming to Tennessee, because according to the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, there are now going to be 686,000 more cops, because that's how many people have enhanced handgun carry permits.
Oh my God, that's like the whole state. Isn't that like the entire state? Like...
they say the NYPD is the 7th largest police force in the world, the 7th largest military in the world.
Are they actually adding that many more cops?
No, that's the amount of people with enhanced carry permits.
Okay,
so
I was gonna say
the new deputies, if you will.
Oh, so technically. So they are adding new cops.
Kinda.
Just not on the payroll.
Kinda.
Wait, that's wage theft.
Yo, hold on a minute.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
Isn't that just fucking insane? Isn't that just absolutely just dystopian?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's not good. No more laws here. We're not a land of laws anymore. Conservatives have been popping off.
They're just going buck wild.
They're going buck wild.
Like, to be fair, there's absolutely no shot that this bill passes. I'm pretty sure even conservatives within the Tennessee State Assembly are opposing it, because, like...
Yeah.
The bar is on the ground.
Yeah.
The bar is in hell, honestly.
In wanting to be hard on crime, they're just going to produce more crime and more gun deaths.
Exactly. The bill only has one lead sponsor in the House and one in the Senate, and they're the two guys that I named earlier. Yeah. And it's like, everybody else is like, yo, dog, you gotta pump the brakes a little bit. You gotta pump. But this is another reason why it's important to pay attention to your state House and Senate, because they are fucking wildin'. Yeah. And this is another point I just want to bring up generally, like, since it's midterm year. I understand people's sentiment that voting in the presidency isn't going to really doing anything, and voting in like the federal House and Senate isn't really going to do a lot for like your material conditions. But a lot of the really bad shit that goes on happens down ballot.
True.
It happens in your like local city council. It happens in your state house. It happens in all these different things. So it's kind of a little bit important to maybe pay attention to all that, you know?
Yeah, all of the very unattractive, not sexy races that you can, get really excited for, like presidential, Senate races and stuff. Like, I mean, if you didn't pay, if you're a Tennessee voter and you didn't pay attention to your house, and suddenly, you're just the wild, wild west. Suddenly, and you're just like, a black family in Texas, and someone can break into your house and say that, you're a criminal simply for being a black person, and they're a good guy with a gun. That's not a very good thing.
Suddenly you're at the grocery store and you accidentally forget to scan an item at self-checkout.
Just get fucking doned.
You got somebody waiting in the front door. Let me see your receipt.
Yeah.
Let me see your receipt right now.
Yeah. And that is because quite literally in our society, if you don't have some kind of central agency policing laws, it's just gonna be chaos.
And the police are already horribly like deregulated. Like what's next? Qualified immunity for everybody?
Right. No, wait, we literally need more regulations to ensure people don't die to gun violence.
We already need to get rid of qualified immunity. We already need to low-key sue individual cops individually instead of taking that from state funds.
Conservatives literally said, oh, you have a problem with police killing citizens? Well, what if we just let other citizens kill the citizens?
They've expanded self-defense laws so far that it's not self-defense, it's just aggression.
It's just
it's just vigilantism.
Like, I don't know how else to describe it other than it's just the Wild Wild West. Like, there's no laws.
The Neo Wild West, baby. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Nobody's gonna stop you from just like breaking into your neighbor's house and literally murdering them.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. And while that's like pretty unrealistic, like that's not gonna happen, and that's why it's so fun to joke about.
Right.
It's so fun to get on here and talk about because absurd. It's never gonna fucking happen.
Maybe it was just a culture war kind of thing. Because maybe the two sponsors knew that it wasn't gonna pass, and they could just run on it in the elections and be like, "Look what we tried to do.
Come on, we're trying to do all this cool gun stuff.
We tried to plunge the whole state into chaos. We tried to make it so anywhere you go, you're not safe. It's just the purge all the time." Kill anyone you want.
All the one issue voters with that one. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely political posturing. Let's talk about something that's a little bit more real and that actually is happening in Florida right now. Specifically in, I know I'm going to butcher this county name. Y'all know I'm illiterate. Valisa County? Valisa.
Like
Shout out our Florida listeners. I know we have a couple.
Look, we've talked about Florida a lot. All you need to know is that this is taking place in Florida, and that should inform your thinking. You should know what's about to happen.
This is a county in Florida. This is local politics. Y'all should know how hyper-reactionary local politics
is. You think Ron DeSantis is bad? Wait till you get to local politics in Florida.
Wait till you get to this guy, Mark Flowers, because he fucking sucks. And if you recognize that name, it should ring some bells in case I absolutely butchered the county name.
We got some Florida listeners, so perhaps you know.
We do. So shout out y'all. I hope you don't have to go to jail anytime soon.
Yeah, because if you do, you're kind of
$5 a day to stay in jail. Fucking insane, right? Just the concept of that is just fucking insane. You know what I mean? And specifically, like, the money that... okay. Back up. I realize I'm a little incoherent.
Back up.
Now inmates in this county jail are gonna have to pay $5 a day for their stay. This includes people who are awaiting trial.
Oh my God.
It's not just like convicted inmates in the county jail.
You haven't even been charged and you have to pay?
You haven't even been charged. You are waiting on trial. Some people wait years in jail to go to trial only to be found not guilty.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is on top of a $30 booking fee that they have every time you go into jail.
Is this a hotel? Oh my God. All the conservatives and like the free market Andes that always talk about the free market, you can't force me to pay for something, you can't take my money away.
Yeah.
They're okay with forcing inmates to pay for their stay in jail?
Well, they've committed a crime, therefore they've foregone all their rights.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're no longer a human being when you've, smoked marijuana in Florida.
Exactly. You aren't. That's why you have to pay $5 a day to stay in jail now, because it's too expensive to house you.
If you tried to steal from like a couple of things from Walmart so you could resell them or put food on the table, you're inhuman. You're not real.
And if you're wondering, like, where's this money coming from? They're in fucking jail. They don't have a job. It's being withdrawn from, like, their cash funds that their family gives them. Like, the money that they would use for the commissary. And there's some interesting fucking comments that Mark Flowers had to say about that kind of money coming through. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'll get to that in a second, but this provision passed almost unanimously in the county council.
Oh my God.
With the only dissenter not saying that there shouldn't be a fee at all, saying that the fee should just be $150.
Oh, yeah.
It should just be lowered to $150 instead of $5, but there should still definitely be a fee.
Compromise.
And I just want to say, there is something uniquely dystopian about forcing people to pay money to be in jail when most of the people that are in jail got there because of their lack of money that they had outside in like the real world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are just further plunging them into debt. And another provision that's within this law is to say, oh, but if you're working during your stay in jail, you won't be subjected to this. So they have effectively said, either you must subjugate yourself to modern day slavery, or you have to plunge yourself further into debt in the outside world, most likely upping the reattribution rate.
Wait, no, that's literally slavery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's quite literally slavery. Like saying you're going to be in debt and you're going to work off your debts by being a slave for us.
Yeah.
That's like the opposite of wage labor. We're taking money so that you can work. Like, come on.
No, isn't that fucking wild?
Yes.
Isn't that absolutely
Oh my
fucking
God.
dystopian?
That's actually just slavery.
Right? And so...
But conservatives love a small state.
So Mark Flowers, the director for the county corrections department, this is what he had to say about that one dissenting opinion that, remember, didn't say there shouldn't be one. It should just be a little bit lower. He said, and I quote, "There are a few inmates that are indignant, but they don't hesitate to get their honey bun funds from their mamas and grandmas and their 5 and 6 girlfriends."
What does he care? Why does that matter, dog?
No, literally, like, I just feel like there's something, like, insanely bigoted about that statement.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
100%.
quite put my finger on it, but there is
100%.
something just fucking horrible about that statement. Their mamas, their grandmas, and their 5 or 6 girlfriends for their honey bun funds. Dog, jail food is shit.
Yes.
I'd be fucking begging for honey buns too if I was in jail.
Sorry for wanting to enjoy one kind of good thing while I'm imprisoned for smoking marijuana
Literally,
in Florida.
you know, a country with one of the worst just prison systems in the world, you know, in the developed world.
It's so telling that their analysis or lack thereof of this situation just goes as deep as like, well, they're getting money from other people so they can pay us.
Exactly.
Like why do you think it is that people are going to jail to begin with? Why do you think it is that instead of like being able to feel like they can get a job and like succeed in our economy, they turn to things like stealing? Yeah. Or they don't even steal, like they work regular jobs and just like do drugs because it's their only escape from reality.
Exactly.
Like, why do you think people do this kinds of stuff? They just can't comprehend that there maybe is some socioeconomic factors that push people into committing crimes, or not even really committing crimes, just like doing things that Florida doesn't like.
They said it's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely insane, dude. But like, keep in mind that quote that I just said about some people being indignant but still getting their honey bun funds.
Yeah.
Because there's a provision written into the Florida state law that allows for this kind of stuff to happen, that if you are going to charge, you have to take the inmate's financial circumstance into account.
Okay.
That's absolute fucking cap, considering quotes like this. You know what I mean? You know what like, how? If he's saying, another thing is, I feel like this is just another way for correctional officers and prison administrators to fucking just torture their inmates, the inmates that they don't like.
Yeah.
What's stopping them from being like, oh, you mouthed off to me? That's it, bro. $5. But you've been here for 10 days, $50.
Yeah, life is already hard enough, big dog.
Yeah.
For people that are in prison, why would you want to make it harder? Like, this is how you know that to them, prison is not about actually, like, it's not even about punishing people for their crimes. It's just about feeling powerful.
Yeah.
Like, conservatives talk all the time about how they love a small state and they hate authoritarianism and they hate big government. But then they do stuff like this, where the state is quite literally punishing people for, like, committing a crime and treating them as if they're not humans.
What is this correcting?
Yeah, what is it correcting?
What is this correcting at all? What about this isn't purely punitive?
It is just sinking people further into poverty and ensuring that they will inevitably commit another crime and end up in the same circumstances. Like, you are not bettering your community in any way. You're just making yourself feel powerful by punishing people that were forced into circumstances where, like, yeah, of course they're going to commit a crime.
And, like, important to note, again, to reiterate, this is jail. This is the county jail, not the county prison. So these are people who are quite literally there for things like petty theft.
Yeah.
Like, fucking wild, right?
Yeah.
Go steal a loaf of bread because you don't have $5. Oh, you get out of jail a year later, I don't know the math, $1,000, bro.
Right.
You're just in debt now.
Or you're just sitting in jail awaiting trial for something very simple, like stealing bread.
Yeah.
And suddenly you don't have any money.
Yeah, suddenly your entire bank account is just fucking stupid because the one CO that didn't like you decided, actually, you can pay this. Actually, your financial circumstance is okay because I've deemed it so.
You gotta love just the authoritarian state.
Gotta love just perpetuating the same cycle that got these people there in the first place.
Uh-huh.
Just not doing anything to correct that, you know?
Conservatives don't want to solve any problems. They just want to hurt people.
Oh, yeah.
They just want to hurt people.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
And, another thing
that's
like going on with this, that this county council approved.
Uh-huh.
They approved that, okay, instead of $5 a day, if an inmate won a lawsuit while they were in jail, or no, not won a lawsuit in the jail, if they filed a lawsuit while they were in jail and won it either while they're in or got out, they can charge them $50 a day.
Wait, what? They can charge inmates more?
Uh-huh. Because they won a lawsuit or they filed a lawsuit. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that literally fucking crazy?
Oh my God. They said, you got more money because you just happened to win a lawsuit in our broken criminal justice system. Well, now you get to give us even more money.
Well, it's not even that, because to justify it, Mark Flowers said the county is subjected to a dozen lawsuits filed by current and former inmates. So what he's doing is
oh my God.
He is literally trying to shut people up about, any fucking thing that the county has ever done wrong to them.
Prison conditions.
Yeah. He's just trying to shut people up by just, actively curbing their civil liberties.
Yeah.
Their constitutional rights.
Yeah. The rights of the accused just don't matter anymore, apparently. And
Wild.
I love to see this. Like a week after Marjorie Taylor Greene was literally calling the D.C. jail the gulag.
You're being punished for winning a lawsuit against the county.
Uh-huh.
You have successfully proven in the court of law that Republicans supposedly believe in that the county has wronged you substantively.
Uh-huh.
And you have been given financial compensation for that. The jail can say,
well, the only jails that can be bad are the ones that are prisoning the faithful protesters on January 6th.
The only jails that can be bad are the ones that are subjecting the people, the good God-fearing Americans who get up every morning and hand over heart say the national anthem every single day.
Yeah.
Every single gosh darn day.
You can't trust these criminals that are just trying to make ends meet and make it so, their children can eat at the end of the day.
You can't trust these criminals who went and stole baby clothes.
Yeah.
You can't for their 5 or 6 girlfriends.
Poverty's not a cycle, it's a choice. And if you're choosing to be in poverty, it's a mindset, according to our favorite Margaret Thatcher, favorite prime minister out of the UK. And if you are, committing crime, then you just owe the state all of your money.
That's right, baby. Because they're housing you.
The small amount of money that you worked for now just goes to the state.
Yeah, because they said it was for to recoup costs for housing, laundry, and food. And you know what they said in that article that I thought was just so fucking telling? They dropped how much they spend a day on food for each person.
How much?
$150.
Bro, come on.
$150.
Come on.
$150.
Oh my. Maybe that's where that 150 number came from. We should only charge them 150.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Oh my God. Maybe if we didn't focus so much on putting people in prison and maybe focused on rehabilitating them and putting them back out into the world, we wouldn't have to have prisons that are so big and charge people $5 a day.
Maybe these people wouldn't be drains on the system if we didn't treat them like they were drains on the system, and also if we corrected the cycles of violence and poverty that got them there in the first place. Radical thought.
I wonder if Mark Flowers owns this prison or this jail.
It's a county private jail, so I don't think jails are privatized, right?
I'm pretty sure everything in this fucking country is
privatized. I wouldn't be surprised. I absolutely would not.
I'm not
sure
how the whole prison industrial complex works, but I know that people profit, private millionaires profit off of prisons all the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was jail.
I'm sure he's invested in whatever companies allow those jail people to work there.
Because that's legal.
That's very
the free
legal.
Market. That's the free market working as intended.
Bro.
Gotta love that.
I love the world we live in.
So if you're in Florida, specifically this county, don't go to jail.
Please just don't commit crimes.
And not for normal reasons, but because if you go to jail, you'll just be bankrupted.
Exactly. You know what? Maybe there is ethical consumption. Please don't steal from Target or Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think that wraps up our episode. I hope you took the putrid news okay. Because that was a lot of putrid news. We'll find some good news for you guys next week. Some goofier news, some silly goofy news.
Yeah, we promise, but how our promises are. So
we do just be lying.
With that.
We do just be lying like Elon Musk could just be lying about stuff.
Oh, facts.
Exactly.
Facts.
So with that, we gotta give a special thanks before we end out the episode.
You know, our financial backers, the people who invest in us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Privatized Head in the Office. We gotta give a special thanks to Cricket Scrapbook Layouts, Nikki Nine Lives, Caden Crown, Terrence Nicholson, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Thalia Katz, 40% Spite, Omar Zuno, Mike Chaplinsky, Mattias T, John G, and my mom. Thank you for supporting the show on Patreon.
Wonderful.
One day it's going to be Head in the Office Incorporated. We're going to become a corporation. We're small business owners.
We're going to have 500 employees.
Exactly.
I'm going to make them clock out on all their breaks. And then after they clock out at the end of their shift, I'm going to be like, hey, can you like go like clean this up real quick?
Yeah, can you work for a couple more hours?
Yeah, but don't clock back in. It'll be really quick, and then it won't be.
And then we're also gonna like donate to some random charity that doesn't actually give their money where they say that they're giving it. They'd be like, but we're really nice people.
Well, actually, we're not even gonna do that. I'm gonna start my own 501c3.
Oh, naturally.
Somewhere else.
And donate to it.
Yeah, and we're gonna donate to that, and then I'm just gonna let the money sit in the bank account.
And then we're going to start a super PAC so we can lobby for tax cuts on podcasts. And we're going to lobby for...
And also the insanely wealthy.
Yeah, and lobby for greater subsidies when it comes to buying podcasting equipment from the government.
Yes.
And then we're going to say, I love the free market so much.
And then we're going to stop subsidizing food production. We're going to lobby for that, too.
Yeah, and then we're going to say, when you go to jail, you actually have to create podcasting equipment. You can get paid like 30 cents an hour to make podcasting equipment, but you're also charged $5 a day.
You actually have to build us a new studio every week.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
If you want to like reduce your jail time, you have to build us a podcast studio every single week. But each studio you build is only like half a day off your sentence.
But to avoid all that, you could just subscribe to the Patreon.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
If you want to be free from the pressures of the law, you got to become a patron, and you'll get a shout out at the end of the episode.
Come on, it's a win-win right here.
You get to dodge the law. The future law once we get there.
So true.
And you'll be able to get a shout out. So,
but trust me, you won't be able to dodge the law if I catch you committing a crime because I'm quick on the draw.
Exactly.
I'm quick on the draw.
Quick on the draw. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Have a good week.